Fed just cut rates to 25 basis points. We have bullish the sorry, I just got an alarm. We have bullish the New York stock, the new crypto exchange that is just kind of like taking over New York right now, is really, really clearing the way for U.S. expansion. They've got some really interesting stuff that just came out. We had the SEC that just approved generic listing standards for basically it's going to make crypto ETF listings a lot easier to happen. So we're going to see a lot more of those. We've got the SEC doing another thing for Grayscale, which I thought was interesting. We've got Michael Saylor at the Unconference that just happened in New York. Shout out to everyone who's out there at that conference. Too bad I should have gone, but it looked like it was a lot of fun and some interesting mic drops were dropped there as well. With Hester Pierce kicking off a crypto tour across the country. And so listen, folks, there's a lot happening in the world of the industry, that is crypto, that is Bitcoin. So please give a repost on the stream if you haven't already. We're going to dive into all the stories here. I'm going to share a screen here, and we'll dive into some of these right now. So let's see what we got here first. Let me go to this page. I thought this was pretty interesting. All right. Here we go. We have President Donald Trump spotted in Washington, D.C. holding a Bitcoin. I thought this was fascinating. This was circulating all over the internet, all over Twitter yesterday. People were trying to figure out whether or not it was real. It was. People were trying to figure out like what was going on exactly in this situation. No one really knows. And I just thought that was a fascinating story. So I just wanted to start it off with that. The big story, of course, is Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve has decided to cut interest rates to 25 basis points. And they also hinted at having a couple more coming out as well, 2 more later this year. And so Jerome Powell giving us the updates. We now have a relatively clear headway on which direction we're headed. It looks like we're going to have a slow grind up. And, we'll see. It's very possible this 4-year cycle still plays out, but it does seem like we're going to have a slow trend up here because the currency is just going to continue to fail against all currency, against all stocks, against Bitcoin. Like it's just going to continue to lose, meaning we'll just keep making all-time highs. And so that's what it seems like is going to happen. We'll see for sure. But that's what it does seem like that's kind of the direction we're headed. We have bullish BLSH ticker symbol, that new crypto exchange that just kind of came out. They just secured a new New York bit license, clearing the way for U.S. expansion. The license lets Bullish offer spot trading and custody services to New York institutions and advanced traders. So this is actually pretty big here. This is going to get a lot of people into the game who have been looking to enter, but have just sort of been on the sidelines because, it's crypto and they're not exactly sure what to think about it yet and not sure if it's safe and if it makes sense. And so Bullish making headway there. And I thought that was a very fascinating story. So we'll move to the next one here. We've got SEC approving generic listing standards for commodity-based trust shares, clearing the path for faster crypto ETF listings. And so this is probably a trend we're going to continue to see. I've said this before, but essentially it's just going to get easier and easier and easier to build in the industry of crypto. And it's going to be a double-edged sword because that's great. We're going to have a lot more projects, but we're going to have a lot more projects. And that's kind of the fear. If it gets easier, then we start to kind of lower the bar for entry and we start to get crappier stuff. And so we'll see how this kind of plays out. But it does, like I said, it does seem like this is the direction. And we're not getting a presidency change anytime soon. And so in my head, it makes sense that we'll continue to grind up. I just can't imagine. I mean, from what I've seen from the administration so far, it doesn't seem like they're willing to let anything go, right? Like they're not going to let the market crash. It just doesn't seem like they will. Like I feel like they've just kind of like been ducking us at every corner. And I don't know. I feel like for them to let the economy also fall apart, they wouldn't be able to make things up out of that. Like we just would be in a full depression kind of thing. And I just don't see it happening. So we'll see what happens. That's basically top signal, rhetoric, but things feel a little different, but I'm sure that's what everybody says. Let's check in with the price of Bitcoin here as well. So we got Bitcoin sitting here and being really volatile, by the way, during Jerome Powell's speech, but recovering very nicely within just half a day, really. And we've pushed up all the way up into 117, pushing up to 117.8, 117.9. And so, yeah, it looks like, this is kind of what I'm saying. People aren't sure what to expect. It looks like Jerome Powell is trying to do his best to just ease our way into it as slowly as possible, just wade into the water. And it does seem like that's kind of the direction. So that's like kind of the theme I keep coming back to this last 2 days or so. The 4-year cycle just doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense at this point, but you can't refute it until we know. So good thing is we will know soon. By the way, this is Ostium, an incredible trading platform. If you guys haven't already and you want to start trading, it's a great platform. We partner with them and we've worked with them for a long, long time. This is where you can trade Bitcoin, you can trade Ethereum, you can trade the NASDAQ, you can trade Forex, you can trade S&P, you can trade Meta, Google, whatever you want to trade here, all in one place with up to 100x leverage, by the way. You can mess with the leverage here. You can mess with your stop loss, take profits, all these things over here on the side. Super easy to use, great platform. You can long and short right here, all in one place, and you can trade in your wallet. So if you guys want to get started with that, it's a great platform. In the tweet down below and on YouTube in the description, if you guys want to check it out, I put the link down below, and you can check out the platform there and start trading using code WOLFC, by the way. And I highly recommend it. Let's move to the next story. We got the SEC approving the listing and trading of Grayscale Digital Large Cap Fund. This covers Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Solana, and ADA, as well as some other options on the CBOE, Bitcoin US ETF index, and the mini CBO Bitcoin US ETF index. So we have everyone clearing the way for everyone looking to build. And Grayscale is definitely making a lot of headway. Bitwise is making a lot of headway recently as well. Bitwise actually put out something. Let me see if I can find it. Bitwise put out something the other day, and I thought it was pretty interesting. So Bitwise essentially has some kind of partnership coming, and I don't think they're allowed to release who it is or the exact details. I think it was more of an announcement type of deal. I'm not exactly sure. Let me see if I can find it here. My computer is just lagging so bad. I've got so many tabs open right now, but we'll see if it can load here. All right. I think it was Hunter Horsley, the CEO, who kind of dropped the information yesterday, but let's see here. Okay, maybe not. Well, I did see this post here. So we have James Safar from Bloomberg talking about this. He seemed to be pretty excited about this, but yeah, he's basically saying, I mean, up only. It's what everyone is saying, but that's also my fear, is that Wall Street is saying it's up only. It's like, of course they would say that, but at the same time, you look at everything, you're like, something's broken. The problem is, it being broken means asset prices go up. So it's like, what world do asset prices lose to the dollar? What world do the asset prices lose to the dollar? In what world does that happen? So it's like, in what scenario does the US dollar outperform Bitcoin? And I just can't think of one. So can't wait to eat my words, when we just crash down to $60,000, all the traders make fun of me. Anyways, so here's what really interesting. So a lot of Bitcoin treasury companies are out here. They're buying Bitcoin. Half of them have bought at the very top, right? Half of them are underwater, actually. In fact, there's a really interesting stat I just saw. Let me pull this up here. You guys will find this fascinating. And by the way, if you haven't reposted, please repost the stream if you're enjoying it. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to come on. I've been traveling a lot, so we started a little bit late today. I apologize. But please repost the stream if you're enjoying it. 1 in 4 public Bitcoin treasury firms are now trading below the value of their Bitcoin holdings. Let me know what you guys think, man. You guys are in here live. Let me know what you guys think about the treasuries. I don't know, dude. Anyways, Michael Saylor said, pipe is the worst way to get money for your treasury company. The easiest way is just to sell, the most constrictive to the capital structure. So he's basically saying, be smart about the debt instruments you issue and sell, because it'll make a massive impact. Obviously, we've seen NACA down. Like, the chart is as bad as the dollar. It just looks terrible. And it's because they did a pipe, I believe. And so, yeah, it makes sense. Let me jump to this one here, because you guys may like this one. Let me see if I can get this to play sound, actually. Give me 1 sec. Let me adjust this. Share screen. Share tab. Okay, here we go. You guys should be able to hear this. This is Michael Saylor at the unconference yesterday.
There will be thousands and thousands of treasury companies, just like there will be thousands and thousands of treasury companies, just like there's thousands of insurance companies, thousands of funds, thousands of banks. And why will they exist? They will exist because the risk-free fiat credit rate is 50 basis points in Japan and minus 50 basis points in Switzerland and 200 basis points in Europe and 400 basis points in the US, going to 300 basis points soon. And the world wants 10%. Right? And who wants 10%? Everybody. Okay, so the real issue is, how are you going to wrap it? How are you going to construct it? I want it to run on my rails. You know, you can buy Stretch on NASDAQ brokers, but you can't buy Stretch on Robinhood. Okay? How do you get the security to go down the rail? It's kind of like, yeah, I got a hamburger, it's $3, but how do I buy it in London when the hamburger is getting served up in San Francisco? The distribution matters, the container matters, the compliance matters, the marketing matters, right? I mean, do they like you? Do they trust you? So, you know, when I think about Bitcoin treasury companies, I'm like, well, do you have the management team? Do you have a strategy? There's 1,000 strategies.
I just want to play just a quick second from that clip and from that conference. Great job, by the way, to everyone who put that on. Tim, great job. We'll have to have you on and talk about the experience there. Let me jump back into this here. Okay, so yeah, let me know what you guys think about the treasuries. I think it could definitely be our Achilles heel. Wall Street coming in, have no idea what Bitcoin even is. It's clear as day because half of them are buying Ethereum, half of them are buying Dogecoin and XRP. So it's clear they don't understand why the first companies bought Bitcoin. I think they're skipping a couple steps. There's a couple of unique characteristics of Bitcoin that they don't realize exist, I think. And they think that it's just the industry overall. So they're like, oh, we missed Bitcoin. Let's just pick the next one. And it's like, that's not how it works. It's about demand. There's a reason that Bitcoin is the one that was bought. Like Michael said, it would have just bought Dogecoin if that was the case, but he bought Bitcoin. So why did he buy Bitcoin? So, yeah. Anyway, Bitcoin treasury stock losing shine as premiums collapse. This is just a story, obviously. This is not FUD for the entire industry yet. But there's been a few here that have kind of led the way. Knock obviously down 96%, like I was talking about. Yeah, we'll see. Of course, if Bitcoin trends up and we outrun all these issues, then the treasury companies win. They look like absolute geniuses, and I could totally see that happening. Is the thing. I've given up on the fact that I'm going to be able to change the whole system on my own by realizing stuff, because everything I'm realizing, people realized 40 years ago. And I've been talking about on Reddit the whole time. And I just am now coming to, because I'm 27. And, so it's one of those things, I'm learning these things as we go, and I'm seeing how Wall Street operates. I'm seeing how co-opting happens. And it's fascinating, I will say. And it's a good thing Bitcoin is what it is, because if it wasn't, I wouldn't be stoked about the industry. There's a reason people are here. There's something special about this asset, and it separates this asset class from everybody else, I think. We'll go to the final story here. We have Hester Pierce planning a multi-city tour to engage with crypto projects. So I'm not exactly sure what this means, but she's doing some kind of tour. She'll be going around the country, a nationwide tour led by Hester Pierce. I actually I produced a podcast with her a couple years ago before she, really took off here, and she was super nice and really, really smart. And she was one of the people who turned me on to the fact that they are listening to us in DC. We had asked her, how do you stay up to date with everything going on in the industry? And she said, oh, we listen to all the podcasts. We listen to all the spaces. And I was like, oh, okay, wow. That's terrifying a little bit. And it's true. And, of course, everyone's listening. If you're using a cell phone, Facebook is probably listening to you. But, it is what it is. So anyways, the tour, the goal is to inform fair crypto regulations and improve investor protection. That's cool. They basically want to just make it a better conversation overall. I think this is good, especially everything that's happened with Charlie Kirk. Conversations back and forth, hearing people out is the future. It is the move. It is what people want. You can't walk away from the conversation people want to have, right? Like the other day, we did the Bitcoin space and Charlie Kirk came up. You can't not talk about it, right? So it would just be disingenuous. That's where you become traditional media, where they have zero care about the conversation. They're just there to fill the sponsors. They are the ad space, you know what I mean? And that's not what we're here to do, hopefully. If it is, then we've just become mainstream media, and there's no reason for us to exist. Any reason, the same way that we look at mainstream media now, and we say there's no reason for you to exist. And so hopefully that's not our future. Hopefully we make it out of here. Look, we got Bitcoin doing pretty well. We'll see what happens. I'm not sure what to expect. We've got a whole lot of things cooking here at Wolf. Be sure to like and retweet the stream if you enjoyed it.